Motion carried. Any intervention? Any intervention? Any? With no intervention, first, I think we should add to the agenda statement from those senators who have not been here since we opened. I think it's Senator Joe Penner, Senator Amar Conan, so, Senator Johnny Quay. Yeah, would like to hear from him. With that, Claire, I read a motion to adopt the agenda. With that, Claire, I ready to vote. All in favor say yea. Against. Senator is sent.
Because on President's text, a statement from the President pro tempore.
May I have your quantified? Distinguished colleagues, the Assistant Secretary of the Senate and the Chamber staff, the Directors, Chiefs of Staff, Office staff, and staff of the Liberian Senate, faculty guests, Senate press, fellow Liberians, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be back home from a successful and rewarding trip to the People's Republic of China, where I was invited to represent Liberia at the Global Leaders Meeting for Women. I'm also pleased to welcome you back to the second session of the 55th Legislature and thank you for your wonderful engagement in your counties and your support in many ways to your constituents. Those of you who represented the Senate on official occasions outside of Liberia, we say thank you for your representation. Look forward to getting those reports. I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Chair on Executive, Senator James Barney, and the Chair on Foreign Affairs, Senator A.B. Dillon, for presiding over the plenary sessions and handling administrative matters while I was away. I also thank all senators for your usual cooperation, commitment, dedication, and support. The Senate continues to be the House of Elders, working in harmony and doing very well with reformation, robust oversight, reviewing laws to suit today's standards for the benefit of the country. Today, I wish to present to you the report on the last session of the Senate. Total enactment, concurrence, and ratification, 56. Total confirmation, 168. Number of instruments in committee rooms, 26. The details from this report are on the Senate's website. You can check www.senate.gov.lr. During the last session, the Senate performed excellently in its oversight role. In keeping with our reform agenda to be robust in our oversight duties, there were two very concerning issues addressed extensively and effectively by the Senate, which I would like to highlight in addition to a few others. One, work permit procedures and requirements. Two, unfair pricing structures relating to the handling of petroleum products. In addition, requests for plans to handle drug abuse from the joint committee set up by the President, complaints on misappropriation of social and county development funds and misuse of authorities in some counties. We want to applaud Senator Emmanuel Lukwe for raising the issues on unfair pricing at LPLC, and Senator A.B. Dillon for the work permit issue. Thanks to all senators for your participation, and to the general public, media, and civil society groups for helping to lift these concerns as they are raised. These collaborations have encouraged the right actions to be taken, and we thank the executive for taking some of our recommendations into consideration. Moving forward on these matters raised, we would like to propose the following. On work permit, I hereby mandate the Labor Committee to follow up on concerns raised regarding the issuance of work permit versus job opportunities for qualified Liberians. The committee is given 1 week beginning today to report to plenary. The report should include statistics on all jobs created on or lost in the Liberian labor market. On unfair pricing at LPRC, we ask the committee to review all LPRC agreements that have been questioned by the Senate to verify the legitimacy of those agreements, and follow up on other recommendations, including the unbundling of the LPRC, a matter raised by Senator Albert Chair, and the creation of an act to govern the entity. 3, the Joint Committee on Drugs should reappear before the plenary to discuss the implementation of the plan presented in our absence. The Committee on Defense and Security is also mandated to call a hearing with the Joint Security to present a plan on the effective functioning of the LDEA. 4, on local government, the Committee on Internal Affairs, Ways, Means and Finance should ensure that all counties should have operational budget lines with the county's name in the Internal Affairs budget, while the Local Government Act is reviewed to consider qualifications for members of the county council. In addition to this agenda, I would like to add a concern raised by Senator Natana McGill. The request to investigate the $200+ million acquired by the government of Liberia for the Star P and Retrack projects in 2021 under the Agricultural Ministry from the World Bank. The loan included $124,500,000 for roads that have not been done, as well as over $100 million loan to smallholder farmers for agricultural projects that must be identified. This must be concluded in 2 weeks by the Committee on Agriculture and a report sent to plenary for debate. It was confirmed in public hearings before the Senate that the Liberian Agency for Community Empowerment list could not give a proper account of over $800,000 given to list for legislative projects in the counties. To close on this matter, the Senate will request an audit by the GAC. Senator Daba Vakla requested an investigation into the LTMI operations to establish its specific contributions and benefit to the sector. The Senate, after final deliberations, established that there was fraud in the agreement and communicated that to the executive for investigation. We look forward to the outcome of the investigation. The Committee on Investment is also mandated to continue the investigation into concerns raised by Senator Yan Toyin on the operations of ArcelorMittal and all other concerns raised by the caucus from the counties with ArcelorMittal presence, and all tours and hearings into this matter should include senators from all counties in which the AML operates. The committee will report in 2 weeks. We would like to ask the Secretary of the Senate to do a communication to all senators attaching bills in committee rooms with a timeline of 2 weeks to report. Reform achievements. Human capital governance. We are making progress in strengthening the human capital governance of the Senate. As you may know, we hired the services of a seasoned human resource consultant with extensive experience across both public and private sectors. Since then, he has drafted a comprehensive Senate employee handbook, which is available for our review, covering vital areas such as recruitment and selection, performance management, attendance and leave, dress code, code of ethics and conduct, NASCOR and income tax compliance, payroll procedures, anti-harassment policy, data protection, and privacy. In parallel, he has also completed 98 detailed job descriptions providing clarity for each staff role, function, and reporting structure. A draft organizational chart has also been produced, which will serve as a master template for department-specific structures. These draft documents are in the possession of the Modernization Committee for final review before the approval of the Senate. A new compensation strategy is under development, one that balances fairness, competitiveness, and fiscal responsibility. It features structured pay scales, performance-based incentives, legal compliance, and internal equity. The strategy is rooted in comparative data from peer legislature and aims to align with our HR budget while reinforcing a culture of merit and transparency. We will move swiftly in working with ROA and modernization and the relevant departments for final validation of HR policies, staff orientation and change management seasons, implementations of department-specific organizations charts, launch of a secure digital filing and record system. Financial reform. On the financial front, I am pleased to report that the financial advisor is working closely with our financial department to complete the 2024 annual financial report, which will soon be published on our Senate website, a milestone in our commitment to transparency. Additionally, several draft financial policies and procedure manuals have been completed and are now pending our review and approval. These include fixed asset management policy, fuel management and distribution policy, funds disbursement policy, petty cash management policy. These policies are foundation to building strong financial discipline and will guide our expenditure accountability and procurement processes going forward. ICT and digital modernization. We have also made exceptional progress in upgrading the Senate's information and communication infrastructure. We successfully integrated Starlink Internet in our network, making reliable Wi-Fi access available within the Senate. This alone has dramatically improved internal communication and access to digital tools. Even more significantly, we launched the Microsoft 365 email scheme and implemented a biometric attendance system to track Senate staff attendance with real-time accuracy. The system has been verified for data integrity and is fully operational. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the dedication of our technology department, consultants, and administrative teams for delivering these complex systems in such a short period. Senate Strategic Plan 2025 to 2029. Our 2025-2029 Strategic Plan has been completed, a document that gives us a clear direction and firm foundation to serve with distinction. The Senate will have a working session this week to conclude on the approval of the 5-year strategic plan. The plan will be launched in a few weeks. Looking ahead, as we have returned from recess, our mission remains clear. Validate and operationalize the new HR policies and structures, finalize and adapt the compensation framework, institutionalize our financial manuals, launch staff training and change management initiatives, and engage more with the public through our IT system and digital platforms. Colleagues, this Senate is not just deliberating, it is building. We are laying the bricks of a future-proof, citizen-centric, and transparent legislature that fulfills its constitutional mandate with professionalism and integrity. Thanks to our OA modernization and Senator Abbott Chair for leading this. Our trip to China. In closing, I wish to announce to the Senate that while on my official trip to Beijing, China, I met with His Excellency Chairman Zhao Lihe, Chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, China's legislative body. He is also a member of the Politburo Standing Committee and falls behind President Xi Jinping and Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party, making him the third most senior leader in China. We had a friendly dinner, and while at the dinner, I made a request for the repair of the John Chamber that got burned and the renovation of the offices in the Capitol building. He immediately requested the presence of the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of China and in the presence of the Liberian ambassador to China and I. He instructed the inclusion of my request to projects approved for Liberia. I also met with Mr. Shen Zandong, chairman of the China International Development Cooperation Agency. The agency is in charge of foreign aid, and the project requested for the legislature was also highlighted in the meeting by both of us. Also, the request for scholarships and exchange programs for legislative staffers were also approved. Today, I will turn over a report to the Committee on Foreign Affairs to continue the processes and communication regarding this will be sent to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The Liberian Embassy in Beijing, China, will also send an official report on our visit to the Foreign Ministry. I will thank my distinguished colleagues for their support always and welcome back from your break. Thank you.
Clubo! Clubo! Thank you. Clubo!
Yeah, thank you for the love too. In addition to the overpass bridge, we will renovate the old building of the Capitol building and repair the church that was burned. That process is about to start.
Senate President Davis, few communication from the President of Liberia. First one is on nomination. October 16, 2025. Senator Young Lawrence, President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President pro tempore, I am pleased to submit herewith the following nominations pending Senate confirmation for appointments in government. Liberian Airport Authority, Mr. John Zebue, Deputy Managing Director for Administration, Ministry of Justice. Attorney Tiklo M. Graceway II, Director, Witness Protection Unit. 2, Mr. Barney A. Sharif, Deputy Director, Witness Protection Unit. And 3, Dr. Steven D. Pay, Probation and Parole Administrator. Ministry of Internal Affairs, Mr. Amos T. F. Kimayan, County Relieving Commissioner, Lufa County. I would really appreciate if these are given expedited confirmation by the Senate so as to ensure smooth transition in the government. Kind regards, sincerely, Joseph Duman Boycott, Senior President. Presiding, first communication from the President on nominations.
Distinguished colleagues, refer the reading of the communication from the President nominating to the administrative position, administrative director position at RIA, Deputy Director for Administration at RIA. What is your word of pleasure? Senator Yantoine?
Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, being in my first day back in session, would like to say happy to be back and welcome to all senators back to doing the Liberian people's business. Having heard the reading of the communication from the Chief Executive appointing Liberians to various positions in government, I move, if I can obtain a second, that the communication be sent to the relevant committee for the purpose of conducting confirmation hearings.
It has been moved and seconded, and we've already restated the motion. Are you ready to vote?
Already.
On readiness by Senator Taylor.
Readiness. Are we ready to vote? Is the motion name the committee?
Yeah, you gave it.
Move that.
What
There was only one communication, right? There was only one appointment, right?
There are two entities, but about that. Two entities. They got waiting to tell something ahead.
Movement is a movement.
The Ministry of Justice and the Committee on Transport.
Anything you reject,
So judiciary.
Say that's okay. Yeah, not ready there. With that play, I ready to vote. All in favor say yeah. Secretary say
why you cannot start doing that?
October 16, 2025. Senator Yomikanga Lawrence, President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, Capital Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President pro tempore, I'm pleased to transmit herewith for the current consideration and ratification of the Honorable Legislature 8 production sharing contracts, PSCs, recently executed between the governments of the Republic of Liberia and 2 international recognized oil companies. These agreements mark a significant milestone in Liberia's upstream petroleum sector and are presented as follows. 1. Production sharing contracts between the Republic of Liberia and Total Energies EP Liberia LLC for Liberia offshore blocks. 1 LB06, 2 LB11, 3 LB17, and 4 LB29. 2 production sharing contracts between the Republic of Liberia and Oranto Petroleum Liberia Limited for Liberia offshore blocks. 5 LB15, 6 LB16, 7 LB22, and 8 LB24. These PSCs are aligned with the government's arrest agenda for inclusive development, which prioritizes economic revitalization, job creation, and the enhancement of social services across the nation. The execution of these contracts represents Liberia's first upstream petroleum agreements in over a decade and signals renewed international confidence in our hydrocarbon potential. Each contract incorporates robust provisions for environmental protection, social safeguards, transparent revenue management, and local content development, thereby ensuring that Liberia benefits directly from the growth of the oil and gas sector. Total Energies EP Liberia LLC, one of the world's leading integrated energy companies, bring to Liberia a wealth of technical expertise, financial capacity, and globally recognized standards in safety, environmental stewardship, and corporate social responsibility. Its energy into the Liberian market is a testament to the country's attractiveness as a destination for responsible energy investment. Honorable pro tempore, upon ratification, these PSCs will deliver tangible development benefits, some of which are outlined below. Benefits from both Total Energies EP Liberia LLC for blocks LB 06, 11, 17, and 29, and Oranto Petroleum Liberia Limited for blocks LB 15, 16, 22, and 24. 1. Employment of Liberians. The contractors shall prioritize the employment of qualified Liberian citizens in all aspects of petroleum operations. All unskilled labor positions within Liberia or abroad, vessels or equipment stationed in Liberia, water shall be reserved exclusively for Liberian citizens. 2. Training and capacity building. Upon commencement of the first exploration well, the contractor shall each allocate US $200,000 annually to the exploration in the appraisal period. $1 million annually follow approval of a development and production plan. The contractors shall contribute 3 social and welfare contributions, US $175,000 annually during the expiration and appraisal period, US $500,000 annually following approval of a development and production plan. 4. Energy Development Fund. An annual contribution of US $500,000 shall be made to the Energy Development Fund. 5. Annual administrative fee US $500,000 payable to LPRA in the contract year. 6. Signature bonus and milestone payments. Total Energies BP Liberia LLC for each of blocks LB 6, 11, 17, 29, US $3 million total signature bonus US $400,000 to LPRA, US $2,600,000 to the government of Liberia Consolidated Fund, payable within 30 days of the effective date. US $1,250,000 upon acquisition of new Sigma data. US $1,250,000 upon approval of the first exploration well. Toronto Petroleum Liberia Limited for each block, LB 15, 16, 24, US $1,250,000 total signature bonus, that is US $400,000 to the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the LPRA, and US $850,000 to the government of Liberia Consolidated Fund, payable within 120 days of the effective date. US $1,250,000 upon acquisition to a new sunlight data. US $1,250,000 upon approval of the first exploration well. In view of the strategic importance of these agreements to Liberia's economic transformation and energy future, which aligns with the government's national rebuilding and development agenda, I respectfully urge the Honorable Legislature to act expeditiously in ratifying the aforementioned production sharing contract. Sincerely, Joseph Newman Porter, Senior President of Liberia. Honorable Zaki.
Distinguished colleagues, we've heard the reading of a communication forwarding an agreement with 2 contracts from Toronto and Total Energy for rectification to the Senate. What is the pleasure? Senator Bobo Ula.
Honorable distinguished senators, I've been listening to the reading of this important financial instruments. I move, like I'll take a second, that those instruments be forwarded to the committees on Ways, Means, Finance, Hydrocarbon, and Judiciary, and given the importance of this instrument, that the committee be given a period of 3 weeks to report to them. And it's a financial instrument, Ways and Means. It is a financial instrument. It is not a technical instrument, it's a financial instrument. Read it actually. It is financial.
Okay, Simple.
All right, the motion was seconded. All right, the motion is there. New motion, Senator Chief.
I mean, listen to the reading of the communication. I move that communications and the attached bills be received by plenary and ordered to the committee on.
Now, the vote is somewhere today, you find 100
First, copies be made for all senators, for all the agreements to all senators, and be forwarded to committee on hydrocarbon as the lead, and judiciary as support.
Whoever restating the motion, are you ready to vote? On readiness by Senator G. Smith, followed by Senator Topo,
On pro tem,
followed by Senator
I will
Chief.
be ready to vote if the movement can add two committees, the concession investment committee and ways and means, because they have financial implications.
Move it. What a rule on the Ways and means and concession. Alright.
So before committee,
Yes.
I will come up for a chief.
Yeah.
Judiciary with the meeting.
Yeah.
No problem, Mr. Young.
Was that clear? Are you ready to vote? Alright. All in favor say yea. Thank you. Senator Senate, please make that clear. Alright. Other couple is in lead.
Another communication for the president. Senator Nyondekana Lawrence, President Pro Temporary of the Liberian Senate, Capital Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President Pro Temporary, pursuant to Article 34F of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, I am pleased to formally submit to the legislature the African Union Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls for legislative ratification. The government of Liberia signed this convention on July 12, 2025 in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. The convention seeks to establish a comprehensive framework.
Golden Junior Senators, please announce the above declaration of the Senate.
Because of what? Well, they really they all come to the barber and then they grow.
The government of Liberia signed this convention on July 12, 2025 in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. The convention seeks to establish a comprehensive framework for the prevention, response, and elimination of violence against women and girls across the continent. Its principal objectives include creating an enabling environment for the eradication of violence against women and girls through the establishment and strengthening of coordination mechanism among government institutions, civil society organizations, international partners. This includes one, provision of integrated support services for victims and survivors, and two, systematic collection and utilization of gender-specific aggregated data, including age-specific data to inform policy formulation, monitoring, and evaluation. The implementing preventive measures by promoting inclusive participation of boys, girls, men, and women across families, communities, culture, and religious institutions in efforts to challenge harmful norms and practices, thereby advancing gender equality and women's empowerment in all spheres of development. C, providing comprehensive support services for victims and families, including emergency assistance, counseling and therapeutic programs, for both victims and perpetrators. D. Strengthening enforcement mechanism within the health, social welfare, and justice sectors to ensure effective and timely responses to incidents of violence against women and girls. In light of the Convention's significance and alignment with Liberia's national commitment to human rights, gender equity, and sustainable development, I urge the Honorable Legislature to consider and ratify this instrument. Sincerely, Joseph Nimon Senior, President. Mr. President of the Senate and presiding officer, a reading of a communication from the President of Liberia on the African Union Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls for ratification by the legislature.
Now the communication from the President of Liberia was a real pleasure. And cheers.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the communication be sent to the Liberia committee, members, and the chair. Are you ready to vote?
Yeah.
Those in favor say yea. Yeah. Again.
Fellow President's next is a communication from Senator Samuel G. Coker of Nimba County. October 13, 2025. Senator Romney Carter Lawrence, President Pro Tempore, Liberia Senate, 55th Legislature, Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Dear Honorable Pro Tem and members, I have the honor to present to you and my distinguished colleagues my compliments. Kindly permit me to bring to the attention of the plenary the disturbing reports of salary disparity among urban and rural universities in Liberia, and with the government's efforts in improving the educational sector, the looming academic crisis in salary disparity is worrisome. Honorable Pro Tem and distinguished colleagues, based on the above, I write to seek plenary indulgence to invite the Executive Director of the National Commission on Higher Education, NCHE, at the Ministry of Education, Dr. Edward Lama Wankeyo, and the Director of the Civil Service Agency, CSA, Mr. Josiah F. Joka Jr., to appear against status reports, on the salary structures of both urban and rural university professors and teachers, so as their full plenary and full position in curtailing the looming protests by the rural professors and teachers. Finest regards, very sincerely yours, Sarah G. Coker, Honorable Senators, Nimba County. Mr. Presiding.
Communication from Honorable Samuel Koga, Nimba County, Senator Robert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having listened to the communication from our distinguished colleague from Nimba County, I will move, if I can get second that this distinguished view from our colleagues, our colleagues' distinguished view, which we are all been fighting for in the interest of our colleges, I will move, if I can get second that such communication be sent to the Committee on Education, as well as with an anti-lead committee to be followed by Ways, Means, and Finance. If I can get second
Second. Ready? Already.
If he moves second, the communication be sent to the Committee on Education, followed by Ways and Means. Are you ready to vote? Senator Segway.
He ain't got college.
Presiding colleagues, my unreadiness is to effect that the component of the communication should be given 2 minutes to explain to some who can read.
Admitted.
Without right now, you ready to vote? Those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Again. Senator, I got 2 minutes. Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators, okay. Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, let me extend my thanks and appreciation to you all, especially for accepting this communication on the agenda. Our attention has been drawn to the wave of complaint by our professionals, instructors from the colleges in Liberia about disparity in salary. The salary of those at the University of Liberia and with that of those hypothetically from LOFA have the same qualification. Why it is true that they are in LOFA, but the salary of those in Monrovia is higher than them. And we believe that we need to do something about it to avoid discouraging people from learning. The essence of people going to school is to have improvement in their lives. Whether you chose to go in Maryland to teach, the fact that you got a requisite qualification is a choice, but the salary should be in a way that the people will be dignified. And as I speak to you, Mr. Pizarri, there are plain demonstration by the teachers at the very colleges in the county to drop chalk down. And when that happened, it had an average effect and misinterpretation on the government. And we, the people, deputies that have come to represent them, we will not sit until such a thing happens that we'll make a retroactive decision, but we must be proactive. It is predicated upon this that we told the wise, the Senate, which happened to be one of the authorized institutions that cloth with the authority to make decisions in terms of budgetary appropriation, to mitigate this process so that there will be an understanding. Consistent with Article 18 of the 1986 Constitution, it provides that there to be equal work for equal pay. So if you are a BSc holder and you are making $500 and another BSc holder is making $1,500, I think there is disparity. We need to step into it to harmonize it to avoid future embarrassment. Distinguished colleagues and Mr. Pizarri, thank you very much. May God bless Liberia.
Also to stop migration. Not there for interface, but to stop migration.
Communication from Senator Liberian Tyrus, General of Montreal County.
Yeah.
Honorable Yamikana Lawrence, President Contemporary, address Senate Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Here, Madam President Contemporary, reference request for the General Auditing Commission to audit the alien work permit regime. I present compliments and right to request the endorsement of plenary for the urgent call on the General Auditing Commission, the GAC, to conduct a comprehensive audit of the alien work permit regime. The aim is to ensure integrity, transparency, and compliance within our labor and immigration systems, and to identify and remedy vulnerabilities that may undermine the rule of law and the rights of workers. I believe this exercise will be in the best interest of workers employers, and the broader economy. The audit shall cover, at minimum, address the following objectives and areas. 1. Identify any and all system vulnerabilities, flaws, and irregularities. That is, GSC shall assess the end-to-end process for issuing, renewing, and revoking alien work permits. B. Detect gaps in controls, data integrity issues, and potential avenues for fraud or corruption. 3. Review enforcement mechanism, penalties, and waivers of practice. 4. Reconcile with LRS, NASCOP, and LRA records. A. Cross-check and reconcile alien work permit data with the Liberian Immigration Service, LRS, or Immigration Services, LRS, NASCOP records, and the Liberian Revenue Authority records. D. Identify discrepancies in work status, permits, expiries, and employer registration. C. Produce a reconciled, audible data set with clear provenance and remediation actions. 5. Investigate violations of visa terms by workers or recruitment agents, including overstay, unauthorized work, contract substitutions, or misrepresentation. 6. Assess alignment between entry visas and the state of work permit regime, including any off-labor or unauthorized pathways. 7. Determine how visa categories interact with labor protections, wage standards, and contract enforcement. 8. Assess whether applicants meet all prerequisites for work permits, including required residence permit where applicable. Verify the authenticity and validity of alien workers' credentials and permits. Review credential processes, including insurance authority validation checks and renewal cycles. 10. Assess compliance with employers maintaining accurate records and reporting suspect non-compliance. 11. Recommend improvements to credential management, data security, and privacy protection for workers' information. Given the importance of these issues for national security, economic integrity, and workers' rights, we respectfully request that the GSC be commissioned to initiate a timely, thorough, and independent audit. The findings and recommendations should be presented to the plenary with a detailed action plan, including ensuring implementation timelines. Thank you for your consideration of this imperative matter. With endorsement of this honorable body, we trust that GSC will approach this with utmost diligence and professionalism. Cordially, Abraham Cyrus Dillon, Senator, Montserrat County. The President, Senate, and presiding officer, reading of a communication from Senator Dillon of Montserrat.
Now, the communication from Senator Dillon was a will and pleasure. Senator Slow.
We don't recognize Senator Koga, but anyway, the presiding.
Koga, right here.
Oh, you left? Okay. The presiding distinguished colleagues, having listened to that comprehensive report from Montserrat 1, I move, if I can obtain a second, that the document be received. Oh, you now want? Oh, okay. You say now you want seat, that's why I said you want. Presiding, with the Senate rule, with our rules, can he go back to the seat so I can pass? I can take the something, please. But affecting him, he can be displaced. Thank you. Wait, Bill, I have called. Don't worry. Ain't that not proof? Speaker, chairman, wasting me to collect money for your party. We were moving from that budget committee. Ad hoc committee will get the budget this year. Ad hoc committee. Ad hoc. I'm not covered. I can speak with you. Mr. President, the good thing you know, Koga.
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, having listened to the request or the prayer from Senator Abraham Dias DeLong, I move if I can obtain a second that said detailed communication being made available to members of the Senate, and the prayer be sent over to the Committee on Audit to review this matter and report to the Liberian Senate in 2 weeks.
Second. Sorry.
Sorry. In line with our standing practice, that Senator DeLong be given the floor for 2 minutes to expand on the issue. Thereafter, action. I was also thinking whether maybe leadership could take 6 or 8 cents. But anyway, you said the committee, okay. Did I get a second?
Yeah, I did.
So if you move and second, are you ready to vote?
Amen. This is a better.
Are you ready to vote? Those in favor say yea. Again, Senator Taylor, you got 2 minutes.
Mr. President of the Senate, Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, the issue about the work permit is not nothing new, so I'm not going to go all around the place. Just like today, the country are open to domestic debt that have been audited. It's the same way we will continue to hammer this thing about work permit until we get it right. Until we are satisfied that the judge will provide it, by the laws we pass, by the concession we ratify, that our people will get jobs because they qualify and not because they partisan. So I'm asking the endorsement of the plenary to commission the GSC to audit the work permit regime. To get work permit in Liberia, like it is, I believe, everywhere in the world, the person who is being issued a work permit must first demonstrate that they have been resident in Liberia and get resident permits over time. And before you get work permit to work, the Ministry of Labor must do everything to ensure that that work is given that person, no Liberian is available or qualified. So the GSC must be commissioned to audit the entire regime of work permit so that we can get it straight. I'm not going to opinionate, at least there are more than 20,000 work permits out there, more than 20,000 jobs out there that Liberians are available to do. Without politicizing, the new stock income, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, especially us from the rescue government. Our people say we move. Say what? Mom, you 1 minute. No, that's not 1 minute. Our people say we need. I beg you, Senator Moise. I want to land on something here. Even if you get 5%, the sex that you get, they say you mean. Even in the fact, some agents say, no, maybe you're not lucky. I don't get something from that person. The general perception is a public official, especially with American people, they mean. Mr. President of the Senate, Mr. President of the Senate, more than 20,000 jobs in the private sector in the labor market that work the men was selling for that job, for those jobs, and depriving our people. We cannot be here under the regime and allow it to happen. We should not allow it to happen. In 2019, 2018, the former government paved the road, the door for military road. First time in the history of this country. In 2019, there was a by-election that contested in. The people in door for military walk on that road to go vote for me. They didn't vote for the government candidate. because they didn't have job. We must be intentional and deliberate about providing job for our people so we can think that they listen or they begging. They empower them. I submit.
Communication from Senator Potokane of Buffalo County. Senator Nyombi Kaga Lawrence, President Pro Tempore, Liberian Senate, Capitol Building, Capitol Hill, Monrovia, Liberia. October 20, 2025. Subject: request for Senate action on the indictment of Buffalo County Superintendent and other former county officials. Honorable President Pro Tempore and distinguished colleagues, I extend my respectful compliments and wish to bring to the attention of this honorable body a matter of grave concern relating to governance, accountability, and integrity in Buffalo County. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, LACC, has reported the formal indictment of several current and former Buffalo County officials, along with a private vendor by the grand jury of the 16th Judicial Circuit Court of Buffalo County during its August term of AE 2025. Indicted individuals include 1. Mr. Samuel K. Zinan, current superintendent of Buffalo County. 2. Mr. Umaru Sharif, general manager, City Lion private vendor. 3. Mr. J. K. Kai Sa, former superintendent of Buffalo County. 4. Mr. Anthony Yoko, former fiscal superintendent, Buffalo County. And 5. Mr. Robert Bindad, former chairperson, Project Management Committee, the PMC. He has been jointly indicted for economic sabotage, fraud, the internal revenue of Liberia, misuse of public funds, theft of property, illegal disbursement of public money, violation of the public financial management law, criminal conspiracy, criminal solicitation, and tax evasion. Despite the seriousness of these charges and the ongoing judicial process, Superintendent Sam K. Zina continues to perform his official duties as head of the county administration. This situation has caused deep concern among citizens, local leaders, and development stakeholders, and it undermines public trust in the justice system, the integrity of public service. In a hearing to the Code of Conduct for Public Officials, consistent with the principles of transparency, accountability, and ethical governance, I respectfully request the plenary of the Liberian Senate to 1. Take official cognizance of the LACC indictment and ongoing judicial proceedings, and 2. Engage the executive branch of government to ensure that Superintendent Zina is temporarily relieved of his duties pending the court's determination. This action will reaffirm the Senate's commitment to good governance, uphold the rule of law, and demonstration to Liberian people, that accountability in public service remains a shared national priority. Respectfully submitted, Senator Potokane, Buffalo County. President, Senate, and presiding officer.
Communication from Senator Kana, Buffalo County. What's the will and pleasure? Senator Dillon.
Having listened to Mr. President of the Senate, Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, having listened to the reading of the communication from our colleague, Potokane from Buffalo County, informing about the indictment of the superintendent of Buffalo County, requesting this body to act accordingly, I move that the communication be received, turned over to the Judiciary Committee turn over to the Judiciary Committee and Internal Affairs and report to this body on Thursday, as in day after tomorrow. As in day after tomorrow. Ministry of the Committee on Judiciary serves as lead. Especially so, it is alleged that the county superintendent is indicted by the government and that he cannot be sitting as superintendent. Administrative action should be taken on. So the committee should report on Thursday. And the proponent of the communication be given 2 minutes. Yeah. I want Hammer and that the proponent of the communication be given 2 minutes to elaborate. I so move.
If he move and second that, I do not accept. Are you ready to vote? Those in favor say yes. You are ready to? Where are you?
I mean, what we set up,
Whether are you ready to vote? Those in favor say yes. Again. You said 2 minutes, right, Senator?
Yes, sir.
Senator, you got 2 minutes.
If I present, I report 2 minutes.
The President of the Senate, pro tem, distinguished colleagues. First, let me appreciate the presiding officer of the day that this was deliberated on. Let me say thank you, Senator Dillon. I think I spoke about this on Tuesday, but in addition to that, my request is the Senate invite the former acting Minister of State, the acting Minister of State, because I know the President is the President of integrity, accountability, and transparency. I believe the communication have not met the President. So for this reason, we need to invite them to explain why up to now the communication have not met the President.
Thank you, Senator. Continue with
communication from Senator Francis S. Dupo of River G County. Office of the Chairman, Senate Committee on Posts and Telecommunications. October 20, 2025, Madam Yomikanga Lawrence, the Honorable President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Subject: request for Senate investigation into the dismissal of the Director General of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, NPHIL, and related governance concerns. Honorable President pro tempore and distinguished members of the Liberian Senate, I present my respectful compliments and right to formally request that the Liberian Senate, in fulfillment of its constitutional oversight responsibilities, immediately commence an investigation into the recent dismissal of Dr. Dupe Christopher Nya as Director General of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, NPHIL. This request is informed by a thorough review of the NPHIL Act of 2016, the official termination letter issued by the Executive Mansion, and the former Director General's documented response, including corroborating evidence.
This letter invading province of the authority of the executive to appoint investigators. There's no authority to investigate based on action on the man. It's still you. You read it, you read it on the right? No. Yeah,
So we'll sustain the order.
Thank you.
We'll sustain the order.
It is an act that you can't tell it.
Come. Mr. Pizarri, I mean, let's hear the reading of the letter. Let's hear the quotation of the act. Come. Let's hear the quotation. Come. Yeah, let's hear the letter at least.
President's Rex.
Tomorrow the MG was coming up with NPS. I was actually before you because I don't have a
We have senators who have not spoken. All the 3 minutes. To begin with, Senator how to spend a break. Senator Johnny Behe, one council. Senator Behe around. Senator Zoe Mayapela Brentila.
Senator Brown, the Senator of Cape County, the senior Senator of Cape County. Somebody on the floor. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate and Honorable Pizarri of the Liberian Senate. Making it, we are glad to report that the county of Nimba is steady
And like all other counties, it's peaceful, and the citizens let me acknowledge here that during our break, we visited the county, even though we are confronted with a lot of issues just as the rest of the counties. But the economic activities within Nimba County is ever striving and growing. Farming activities by our citizens are ongoing, except for the concession areas where rightfully mining activities have taken away the rights of our people to farm. And that is the reason why we continue to push for benefits of our people who have been deprived and denied rightfully because of mineral deposit within their areas of farming. And so we want to again applaud the leadership of the Senate for giving us the overwhelming support in taking up the issues with concessionaires within the county, and we hope that this session will conclude on some of the issues concerning the smooth operations and the compliance of companies operating in Nimba. Let me report that the Nimba Legislative Caucus also has been meeting on some of these issues. And we want to assure you people that our push and advocacy for our people stands from the background whereby we don't want unrest at concession areas. Too long, our people have been left alone to either find a voice for themselves. And when they do so, sometimes they resort to protests and demonstration. So we want to avoid that so that we can have investor confidence, so that we can have security at companies and concessionaire site to do their job properly, while holding them accountable to do the needful for the people who are in the affected areas and the rest of the country. And we'll continue to stand firm on those issues. And whatever way in which we can solicit the Senate to stand by us, we will do so. Let me say, on the national front, as a senator of the rescue government, that we want to employ the executive branch of government, Mr. Vice President, take our sincere gratitude to the presidency through the people of Nimba, that even though there are infrastructure development ongoing in the county, at least for once, the bread and butter issues have been looked at. Even though there are people who feel that even though there are good things happening in terms of road infrastructure and other bigger things, but the bread and butter issue have not been addressed, which is false. I can stand here and say on behalf of my people, we need more to be done. We are not where we want to be. However, we know that rice price is lower than what it was last year and a few years ago. We know fully well that petroleum price is lower than what it was a couple of years ago, and its availability. We are aware that the roads that are leading to farms and markets have brought down transportation, and that is bread and butter issue. Take this to the president that the people of Nimba need more, but we employ the steps that have been taken to address some of the issues that have been confronting our county and our country. We want to say here that in the coming days, the Nimba Legislative Caucus will be cultivating means to meet the President, His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai, so that all of the issues that Nimba County is confronted with, can be laid bare before him for executive action. With that said, distinguished colleagues,
Thank you for the time, Mr. Presiding, and I yield.
Senator Francis